Right now, we are getting a look at new video showing what the FAA is calling a safety incident involving a helicopter carrying President Donald Trump Marine One. You can see a commercial flight in the top right of your screen. They're taking off from Reagan National Airport. This was yesterday. Then about seconds later, 10 seconds later, the president's helicopter, Marine One, appears to fly in the vicinity. The FAA, however, says this does not appear to be a close call. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello following it all from our D.C. bureau. Tom, the White House says the president was never in harm's way. What are the safety protocols for Reagan Airport, though? Because it does look pretty close, or anywhere else for that matter, when the president's helicopter is nearby.
You know, Sam, I got to tell you, I don't think the video does show that they were that close. And the video clearly shows that they were not converging, but they were not complying with FAA regs because there should have been 1.5 mile separation. But really, what's supposed to happen is that the traffic at Reagan National should have been halted when Marine One carrying the president lifted off from the White House. So that didn't happen. And the investigation right now is looking into why exactly that failure to stop the traffic at Reagan didn't happen. Here's what the White House says in a statement to NBC News. The White House says the following: Marine One flights are piloted by some of the best aviators in the world, and at no point was the president in harm's way. I can tell you that the FAA also tells us that there was a momentary loss of separation. Let me define that for you. After which the aircraft continued to move away from one another. The controller was in contact with both the commercial pilot and the marine pilot during the loss of separation. As the White House has said, the president was not in any danger. So the rules are that you must be separated by 1.5 miles horizontally, 500 feet vertically. And you may say, well, it looks like they're pretty far separated right there, and they're flying in opposite directions. Yes, but again, the rules are also that there should have been no commercial traffic when the president's chopper was about to take off, and controllers knew it was about to take off. And then separately, of course, this comes after, 18 months ago we had that horrific crash here at Reagan National Airport involving a military chopper and a commercial plane, and 67 people were killed. And so because of that, they dramatically restricted all helicopter traffic in and around Reagan Airport. I think the way to characterize this is exactly as you said. They are looking at the safety incident, but there's no suggestion that the president was in danger, and there's no suggestion that the Marine One pilot did anything wrong. The question's going to be, why wasn't commercial air traffic stopped when Marine One was taking off?
Some really important context, especially given what did happen in D.C. airspace 18 months ago. Tom Costello with the latest for us. Thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.